The time is 5 o'clock, and here's the world news at 5. First, the top stories. Governor Amoson signs bill prohibiting violence in Ogun State into law. Governor Nasser El-Rufai says Labour leaders are selfish. Senators to probe alleged plots to remove Senate leadership. FIRS finalized plan to sell properties of tax defaulting companies and individuals. North Korean leader and US President Trump to hold historic meeting. Iran jails woman for removing headscarf in public. I am Tobi Joseph, bringing you news in details shortly. Governor Ibekele of Ogun State has signed into law a bill abolishing violence in domestic and public life. Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Abiola Koforiji Okonji, who made this known in Abeokuta during the 2018 International Women's Day, says the bill will protect everyone, especially girls and women, against rape and other violent acts. The new law also provides a maximum protection and effective remedies for victims of such violence and other related matters. The State House of Assembly last November 2017 passed the bill into law. The Commissioner appreciates the Governor for being gender sensitive over his appointment of Mrs. Yetudo Noruga as his deputy and appointing 6 new commissioners as cabinet members. Event was attended by the Governor's wife, Dr. Mrs. Olufunso Amoson, Senator Yabu Anishino, Justice Yetunde Adeolu, the representative of the Deputy Governor, and the wife of the State Chief of Staff, Mrs. Folashade Andebi. Others and special advisor to the Governor of Women Affairs, Alhaja Toyosi Anifowoshi, police officers' wives, religious bodies, Girls Guide, National Council of Women Society, female artisans and traders. People with disabilities in Ogun State have appealed to Governor Ibekele to urgently give his assent to the bill for people with disabilities. The State House of Assembly last year sent the bill to the Governor for his assent. The associations of people with disabilities, including National Association for the Blind, Joint Association of People with Disabilities, Federation of Disabilities Platform, and the Physically Challenged Association, made the call at the 2018 International Wheelchair Users Day celebration in Abeokuta. They asked the stakeholders in the state to compel the governor not to withhold his assent on the bill. The associations also want government at all levels to allocate certain percent of their appointment, employment, and empowerment, among others, for the people with disabilities. State Director of Special Needs Education, Mr. Elijah Kemi, assured the people with disabilities that the governor will append the signature on the bill. Such bill, according to Akemi, required a painstaking work to stand the test of time and to meet global-based practices. Ogun State government has begun the construction of a 22-kilometer, 6-lane Shagamu-Ogijo-Ikorodu road in the Shagamu local government area. Governor Ibekele, while inspecting the ongoing road project in Shagamu and Ijebu, promised that the road project will be commissioned within the next 14 months. The governor, who says the road is among several to be completed before he leaves office in 2019, assures that a fund has been saved for the completion of the ongoing road project. Other roads mentioned by the governor are the Itele Ikona Road, Irunwa to Aton Road in the Ijebu local government area, as well as Imure to Odelemo Road in Shagamu local government area, and the 26-kilometer Elisha to Ijebu Road. Other roads are listed for completion within the period are Ilobo to Iju Road, A4 to Ososo Road, Imoshe to Owuikija Road, and Olodo to Alagbagba Road. Amoso also promised that the ongoing flyover bridge project in Ijebu will be open for use within the next few weeks. Governor Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna State has advocated the removal of labor matters from the exclusive list of the 1999 Constitution to save Nigeria of endless strikes and active impunity by labor unions. To the governor, the organized labor in Nigeria are irresponsible, selfish, and have destroyed the country with alleged excesses. The governor, who spoke on the issue in Abuja at the Cabinet Matters Roundtable organized by the Development Authority Incorporation, accused Labour of promoting endless worker strikes against popular government policies. El-Rufai also wants the strict enforcement of the principle of no work, no pay on striking workers so as to reduce active impunity and unnecessary demands by labor unions. Governor Yahya Bello of Kogi State has cautioned the Senate against intervening in a political crisis in the state. The Senate, according to the governor, in a statement about the State Director General of Media and Publicity, Kingsley Fanwu, should work for Nigerians and not for some senators. Last Wednesday, the Senate had warned that attacks on political opponents of governors of Kogi, Kaduna, and Kano State are threatening the nation's democracy. But Governor Bello accused the Senate of taking sides in the attack on a PDP senator during his empowerment program in the state. He asked the Senate to allow the police to conclude their investigation of the attack before drawing conclusions that the attack was sponsored by him. The Senate is investigating the alleged plot by some senators to impeach the Senate President Bukola Saraki and the Senate leadership. The investigation follows an allegation by Senator Obina Ogba that Senator Abdullahi Adamu, who was recently removed as the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, and some members of the Senate were involved in the alleged plot. He claims to have evidence of the alleged plot, including telephone communication between Senator Adamu and others in the plot to organize a demonstration. Senate Deputy President A.K. Kuremadu, who presided over the Senate plenary, says there is the need to preserve the legislature to avoid autocracy or military intervention. A similar allegation was leveled last January by Senator Issa Masab, that some senators are seeking to remove the Senate President Bukola Saraki. Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) says it will soon begin the sale of companies and properties which have been evading the payment of tax and refused to pay. The agency's Director General, Babatunde Fowler, who made this known, says they are processing the court documents to legalize the planned sale of such tax defaulters. Fowler explains that the agency had identified properties worth 2 trillion naira belonging to corporate organizations that have never paid tax. As of now, the FRS chairman says the identification of such assets have been concluded in Lagos and Kaduna, adding that tax officials are set to move to out of state. The UK is to pay for a new wing in one of Nigeria's largest prisons to help expedite the transfer of offenders from British jails. Up to £700,000 will be spent on a 112-bed annex in Kirikiri prison in Lagos. According to tenders placed with construction firms, the project will cost £696,000. UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson said it will enable eligible Nigerians inmates serving time in the UK to return home to complete their sentences. The UK and Nigeria signed a prisoner transfer agreement in 2014, under which citizens of one who commit crimes in the other will serve sentences in their homeland. You're still listening to the One News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next will be your foreign, business and sport news. Please do stay with us. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and US President Donald Trump are to meet in person by the end of May. It is regarded as an extraordinary overture after a month of mutual hostility. News of the meeting was delivered by South Korean officials after talks with Mr. Trump at the White House. They passed a verbal message from Mr. Kim saying the North Korean leader was committed to denuclearization. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in said the news came like a miracle. China has welcomed the development, saying the Korean Peninsula issue was heading in the right direction and calling for political courage. The latest announcement came days after the South Korean delegation met Mr. Kim in Pyongyang. An Iranian woman who publicly removed her veil to protest against a mandatory hijab law has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. Tehran prosecutor Abbas Jafari Dolatabadi said the woman, who has not been officially named, was found guilty of encouraging moral corruption. He added that 21 months of the woman's sentence have been suspended and that she was in need of medical treatment. It follows dozens of similar arrests of Iranian women in recent weeks. Most of those detained for defying the country's strict law on appearing in public in a headscarf have been released without charges. The woman sentenced in the capital, Tehran, on Wednesday was jailed for 3 months without parole. In December, an Iranian woman who was detained after defiantly taking off her headscarf and holding it on a stick in Tehran became the face of protest in the country. In business, billionaire Aliko Dangote has jumped 5 spots to be named the world's 100th richest person on Forbes' annual billionaires list. He is one of 3 Nigerians represented in the index, which also features at least 7 South Africans, 1 Algerian, 1 Angolan, 6 Egyptians, 2 Moroccans, 1 Swazi, 1 Tanzanian, and 1 Zimbabwean. The richest of the African group is Elon Musk, who was born in South Africa. Mr. Musk was 50th on the list with a fortune of $19.9 billion. Just one woman was represented in the group, Isabel dos Santos, the daughter of Angola's former president, with a fortune of $2.6 billion. Finally, in the world news, sport news. China and Haiti in Group D of the 2018 FIFA Women's World Cup. The draw ceremony held at the Opera House, Reims, saw the African representatives faced with tough opening contest in the 8th-grade women's competition. Ghana, making their 4th appearance in the Women's Youth Tournament, will meet hosts France, New Zealand, and the Netherlands in Group A. Group B has the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, England, Mexico, and Brazil, while Group C has Spain alongside USA, Japan, and Paraguay. Nigeria will face Germany in St. Malo on August 6. That was the world news at 5. And just before we go, the major stories once again. Governor Bikila Musun signs a bill prohibiting violent attacks in Ogun State into law. Governor Nasser El-Rufai says labor leaders in the country are selfish. Senators to probe alleged plots to remove Senate leadership. FIRS finalized plan to sell properties of tax defaulting companies and individuals. On the foreign scene, we told you that North Korean leader and US President Donald Trump are set to hold a historic meeting. Iran has jailed a woman for removing headscarf in public. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good evening.